What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dawgs and Hawgs. We've got Russ Tanner as usual. I'm your host, Bobby Andrews. Russ, you're lucky I'm here today.
I'm lucky.
I got my wisdom teeth out Friday. So by the grace of God, he has allowed me to not. I've heard some horror stories about some wisdom teeth.
Are you a pansy when it comes to pain?
Oh no. I was fine. I stopped taking my what's the was it hydro whatever
hydrocodone whatever.
Yeah. I stopped taking that day one. So yeah, I was I handled it pretty well. Woke up the next day, felt fine, felt ready to go. So yeah, the toughest part was not being able to work out till like Tuesday or something like that.
Oh, so. Nice humble brag. I like that. Well, not to one up you, but back in my day, no lie, I had 5 wisdom teeth and a cyst. All had to come out at one time. So yeah, 5 wisdom teeth. But
how was your experience?
I'm a trooper, dog.
Yeah. I've heard horror stories. Did it drag out for like a week or two?
I don't know. I don't remember. I was like 18. Nothing hurts when you're 18.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So, well, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll just some quick wisdom teeth talk. Oh, look at that. Roddy. Shout out to Roddy. He's back on the boards right now. Bobby is so tough. LOL. Thanks, Roddy. Appreciate it. Anyways, everyone, welcome into Dogs and Hogs. We've got a lot tuned in for this show. We've got, we'll eventually get around to some Super Bowl. We've got Georgia having, the #1 recruiting class in the nation yet again under Kirby Smart. Dylan Raiola, he's back in the conversation again. We've got a clip that we're going to pull up here in a minute. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about today. First up, Roddy's got it up right there on the screen. Dylan Raiola's father had a conversation, I guess. Was this with Rivals or an interview with Rivals, I think, or something like that?
Yeah. And I did not know that Roddy Nabulsi and Dylan Raiola's dad were brothers. I mean, look at that guy. Golly. I mean, Roddy's he's got the goatee. He's a beard away from being Dylan's brother, Dominic's cousin, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So hit it, Roddy.
We'll bring up one guy's name. His name's Kirk Herbstreit. And when he saw the smoke about Dylan entertaining Nebraska, he was like, called me. He said, dude, is this true? He got to do it. He got to do it. His affinity for Nebraska, for a guy like that to tell me and to, get behind me. Look, I knew he needed to do it, but I wasn't going to sit here and say, you need to go change that place or be a part of the change at that place. So when Kirk told me that, I was like, man, this is, I've had people reach out, other coaches reach out to me and say, look, the place is special. Coach Rule is a special leader. We'll bring up one.
Yeah, so you heard it all here. We're seeing some comments roll in. Feel free to comment, subscribe to the channel, ujsports.com, all of that, guys. Ask some questions. We'll get to them. But I see some comments right here. Breaking Kirk Herbstreit. This is Doghouse Tailgate. Yep. Breaking Kirk Herbstreit hired by University of Alabama as head of recruiting. We've got some James Caraway. Kirk Herbstreit is such a joke. Gets mad at FSU fans when they correctly said he swayed voters to keep them out of the playoffs. Now this. I have a lot of respect for Kirk Herbstreit. I don't think this doesn't necessarily affect the respect that I have for Kirk Herbstreit. It makes me question some of Dylan Raiola's motives or who is feeding into him. There was a little conversation of, did Dylan make this decision on his own, or did he have some outside sources influencing him? Obviously, it seems like he had some outside perspectives that kind of swayed his decision in the final hours.
All right, I'm on a. I know it doesn't make for great clicks and viewership to not have hot takes with this stuff. Come down and hammer on a kid, flip-floppy. Now, my man Darren Huckabee just said he played at 5 high schools in 4 years. We'll be fine. He's actually right. I 100% agree with him. But, man, it's hard. It's hard, right, being a kid who is that talented with the world of NIL, with social media, with all the stuff the way it is. And unfortunately, Kirk Herbstreit is going to get hammered by Georgia fans this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much the third strike for College Game Day, right? I mean, they got rid of my boy DP. Pat McAfee trolled us at the end.
Yep.
And now Herbstreit's come out and said that he's flipping our top recruit somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's probably 3 strikes. I didn't watch Game Day last year. I probably won't watch it again this year. Whatever. It's America. Praise God for that. We're free to do what we want to do. I would assume there's probably context around this from Herbstreit, meaning something like the tradition of college football needs places like Nebraska to be better than they are. Because Nebraska has been absolutely terrible for a long time now. And I like Matt Rule, by the way. I don't have anything against Nebraska.
Yeah.
I like Matt Rule. Anytime I hear the guy talk, seems like a good dude, seems like a good leader, like the guy said. I agree with that. So I think Herbstreit probably, I hope, was saying for the tradition of where it's at, how cool of a story it is. Like if one of my 3 sons is fortunate enough to be able to be big enough, fast enough, strong enough, whatever it may be, to play college football, like I hope he plays at Georgia, right? Because I love it. I'm sure that Dominic Raiola loves it too. The bad part about that interview, the bad look of that is he said that Kirk Herbstreit called him and said, dude, you got to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing illegal about that. Herbstreit's not getting any money to him. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know. You can't be, in my opinion, if you're that big of a national figure, and Kirk Herbstreit is probably the face of college football media, right? I
Really?
mean, is there a bigger name than Kirk Herbstreit when it comes to national media for college football? So to have the appearance of playing favorites, trying to pick winners, trying to influence a kid to do something, like it's just not a great look. And I bet he wishes that Raiola hadn't gone on Twitter or Instagram or wherever that interview was up at and said that. At the end of the day, yes, the kid was influenced by family really wanting him to go there, which I get it. I'm from Wrightsville, Georgia, homie. Like I wasn't sure I was going to Georgia to the very end, but I had family, had people around me that wanted me to go there. He probably has the same thing.
Right.
There's a lot of money being thrown his way by Nebraska. I'm sure they're paying him more NIL than Georgia's going to offer him at the very beginning. And then, the social media aspect of probably getting in his ear. And he even said a little bit, his little poem that he wrote on the early sign of the day saying he wanted to go basically be the man, not be a cog in a wheel in the big machine. I think all those things kind of played into it. And he goes, but yeah, it's not a good look for Kirk Herbstreit, for the Raiola dad to come out and say, yeah, Kirk called me and said, go to Nebraska. You need to. Awesome. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Man,
he even said he had other coaches, other people call him and say that too. So a lot of bad blood are out there right now. A lot of people saying, they're trying to keep top prospects away from Georgia, and for good reason. I mean, I think that's a perfect segue into Georgia securing officially the #1 recruiting class in the nation yet again. Added another 3-star recruit today, a wide receiver, Jeremy Bell. People are saying he's supposed to be pretty good. He's a preferred walk-on.
Yeah.
And people are saying he could have an immediate impact with Georgia. So, a lot to look forward to. Roddy pulled it up right there. Georgia lands #1 recruiting class again and again, and again, which is true because that is the 4th time under Kirby Smarts in 4 out of 9 years has he secured the #1 recruiting class in the nation.
Yeah,
they're just people are trying to keep the recruits away from Georgia.
I don't know what he's highlighting. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see it. What's it saying?
Since Nick Saban retired, he, as in Kirby Smart, is unequivocally the best recruiter in college football.
He is. It's not even close, right? I mean, even with Saban in there, it was an argument. Was it Kirby? Was it Saban? Top class, and then 2 national championships. Played for a 3rd. Probably the best team in the country this year. Although the record, you got beat later on, didn't get to play for it. So yeah, what Kirby's doing is unbelievable. To go back towards that Herbstreit thing, trying to keep recruits away from Georgia for a minute. we live in, I literally live in Oconee County, Bishop, Georgia. I live 20 minutes from Sanford Stadium. So we live in a place to where Georgia football is, it's the breath, right? It's the air we breathe pretty much. So that's all we want. Then you got to know the national media, man, they want parity. They want to sell advertisements all over the place. So yeah. And by the way, it's also good for them to have a villain. Bama was the villain for so long. Georgia's the villain now because you're the big bully on the block, especially Harbaugh gone, Saban gone. But it doesn't matter if you keep getting these types of classes that Kirby's getting, and he will, because he is that driven, he is that focused, he is that detail oriented, and that wow. He knows what he wants to do. I couldn't get the word out.
Yeah.
He knows what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And I think he's wired differently than all these other coaches right now. There's not many people wired like Kirby Smart. So you recruit at the level he is, top class 4 out of 9. My assumption is, and I don't know if we got stats or anything on this, he's probably top 3 in probably 7 or 8 of the 9, top 5 in probably every single year. Maybe that first class he had was a little bit down, but it's wild at the level that Georgia's recruiting at right now. So, Georgia ain't going nowhere, man. And it's because of recruiting. That's why.
Roddy, I don't know if you have it up there, but the list of the years that we had, we had 3 in a row, 3 years in a row. We had, there it is. So 2017, number 3, and then 3 years in a row, 2018, 2019, 2020, number 1, and then 5, 3, 2, and then what? 3 and 1 or something like that. Or 2024 is yes. Now, number 1.
Number 1.
So,
sheesh. That's what high school kids say. I mean, yeah, it's wild. I mean, Georgia has the top. I mean, is there a roster in college football that you would trade for right now? That you would trade Georgia's roster for?
I don't think so.
No, I mean, Ohio State is probably the only one that even gets a mention with that. And that's because, I mean, they hammered the portal this year and they recruit well, but there's not a single roster that you're going to take over Georgia's roster. And that's not me being an alumni, a DGD, none of that stuff. Not a fan. That is from the outside looking in with as objective of a view as I can have, saying Georgia has the most talented roster in the country. Would have been even more talented if Raiola had been there? Yes. Are we now do we drop a rung because we don't have Raiola? Absolutely not. Because Georgia's so much better in the front 7 than everybody else on a regular basis. Yeah. And that's why we won 2 of the last, however many national championships, 2 of the last 3, and played for another one right before that. So, yeah, I ain't real worried about Mr. Raiola going out there to resurrect Nebraska football. I hope Nebraska's good. Look, I hope Nebraska's good at football. I hope Oklahoma's good at football. I hope USC's good at football. FSU, Miami, Penn State, Michigan. I hope all those teams are good at football. And then I want to beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
So
for sure. I like this comment right here. Kirk Herbstreit, emotional support dog. Tell him to call Ravioli. Remember Kirk's last college game was a whipping by UGA. The Ravioli thing just got me. I don't know why I found that.
Does he got funny. A dog named Ravioli?
No, that's just playing words of Raiola.
You can't listen to anything Phil Nichols says, by the way.
No,
so, no. I know. Look, this is the funny thing about this little podcast show we do. I know most of our commenters personally, and we've got some pieces of work.
Yeah, I mean, you're constantly bringing up some of your old playing buddies who are commenting in the comment section. So
unless that was Lisa, his wife, which I'm assuming that was actually Phil. Yeah.
Well, any of Russ's playing buddies, if you're watching, feel free to leave us some comments. Give us some things to talk about here, because this is, we're in a little bit of a lull area here in the college football world. Today was signing day, believe it or not, but it wasn't,
and I don't believe it.
Right, exactly, because it's the tail end of the signing day. All the major guys have already signed. So it's like, Georgia gets a couple guys here and there, some preferred walk-ons, stuff like that. But today, believe it or not, was a signing day. So just crazy kind of time in the I guess the media realm, kind of a lull moment. So
the crazy thing to me, you talk about signing day, you talk about preferred walk-on. So I read the article about the kid that we signed today, the Bell kid, I think was his last name. Sorry if I'm messing it up. The wide receiver. I mean, the dude's like 5'11", $180, $190, whatever it is. Jeremy Bell. Yeah. There it is. He's a 3-star prospect. That means he can play Division I football somewhere. But he chose to walk on at Georgia. I think the thing that Kirby doesn't get enough credit for around here is how they do roster management and how they do scholarship distribution. There was a post on the Dog Vent this week trying to figure out the scholarships and where we're at with all that stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I think the NIL stuff changes it, because you can get kids now that get NILs. You don't have to be on scholarship to get NIL, by the way. So maybe that guy, maybe the Jeremy Bell guy's getting a little bit of NIL stuff equivalent to tuition or something like that to help. So I don't know how they get to the 85 number that the NCAA still makes them stay at. Because if you just do the pure math, not enough guys have left for enough guys that are coming in.
Right.
But Kirby manages it well. And also, Georgia fans got to know this. We're going to have several more transfers here in the next couple of months. I mean, there's a few right now I know for a fact have already had the conversation with the staff over there and told them, for whatever reason that they're moving on. So, that's nothing bad against them. Great kids, been good parts of the program. Different reasons going on, but there's going to be some spots to kind of open up. But Georgia has to manage those scholarship numbers to get to 85, and I think Kirby does that probably better than anybody in the country.
Yeah, we're talking about James Caraway. Say Kirby track record, preferred walk-ons is elite. Nobody manages a roster better than that. I mean, we can go down the list and just talk about, like, who else was a 3-star recruit?
Who?
Ladd McConkey.
Ladd.
Like, I mean, we can go. I'm sure we could go down the list and name 3-star recruits and all these different guys. But I think that'll be another good segue into kind of talking about the 5 Bulldogs that are expected to go very high in this upcoming draft. So, Roddy said Eric Stokes was a 3-star. So, yeah. So just a lot of different guys that Georgia has recruited that ended up being 3 stars. I think Jeremy Bell has an opportunity to kind of fill the shoes of some of the guys who are leaving. Shout out John Williamson right here tuning in from Rocket City. Great job, Russ and Bobby and Roddy Nabulsi. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
And I've got a question here, kind of in my mind. And Roddy, for the fans who are watching the show, and we really appreciate it, by the way. Roddy's behind the scenes. We can see Roddy. You guys can't see him, but he can jump on. So he may have to jump on because I don't know the answer to this question because you're about to go. I think there's 12 guys projected to be drafted this year. Is that what you told me pre-show for Georgia?
For Georgia?
Yeah.
I don't remember having that conversation with you. There are 5 guys projected to go in the top 62.
All right.
That ESPN has.
I said 12. No idea where it came from.
I don't know either.
But I'm curious as to where those guys were ranked by all the recruiting services coming out.
Yeah.
What was the star stuff coming out on those guys? You got a Ladd McConkey. He's a 3-star guy. He's going to be a 2nd round, possibly late 1st round guy if he works out well. You got Amaris Mims, right? Amaris Mims is probably he had to be a 5-star guy. You don't get built like he was built. I don't remember the rankings on it, but I think Georgia's done an excellent job of obviously development of talent when they get there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's another thing that's really impressive. Like Kirby hires elite recruiters, but then they develop those guys over there. And a lot of that probably to do with the analysts, the staff, all the people they have around. But it's a different world, man. And when you get guys like Ladd McConkey, who, Ladd McConkey was a 3-star because of his size. His talent at high school probably should have been a higher rated guy
for sure.
But he developed. He played well. So yeah. Who are the 5? Who are the 5 that they're projected like top 60?
Yep. So we've got Brock Bowers, number 14, which this is ESPN mock drafts and stuff like that. So it's a conglomerate. People vote on this stuff. Mel Kiper has him in the top 10 if you care about Mel Kiper or not. So Brock Bowers at number 14 to the Saints, Amarius Mims to number 20 to the Steelers, Ladd number 33 to the Panthers, Kamari Lassiter number 41 to the Packers, and Javon Bullard number 62 to the Ravens. Let's go down the list on each one of these guys and kind of discuss, do we think that they are a good fit with this team, or where do we see them being a good fit with this team? Let's start with Brock Bowers, number 14 to the Saints.
We know this. The Falcons aren't going to take any of them.
Definitely not.
They're not drafting any of the Georgia players. Maybe Raheem Morris. Raheem, we believe in you, big dog. Like, bring some dogs over there. So, all right. You said Brock, the first one?
Brock. Let's discuss Brock. They have him set to the Saints here. I'm pretty sure Mel Kiper has him number 7 to, I don't know who's number 7.
Doesn't matter.
Was it the Chargers? Maybe I can't remember. I don't know who it is.
I've seen projected to the Chargers because I thought him and Harbaugh. I actually never seen that. But look, Brock Bowers is a fit anywhere he goes in the modern NFL game now, where that flex tight end position is so important because you want to be able to run different play types with the same personnel packages in there. You get Brock Bowers in it, and look, Brock Bowers is not Darnell Washington, right? He's not a big, bruising, drive blocking barrier guy, but he can put his hand in the dirt and he can get on people and move them. He's a capable blocker at the point of attack, but he can spread out, and now he's a wide receiver to where if you don't put a corner or a really good cover safety on him, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That skill set is probably one of the skill sets outside of quarterback and 2 or 3 other positions that's in the highest demand in the NFL game right now. And Brock is elite, man. Like, he is a different cat. There's some people that are just different than everybody else. We've got people watching our show tonight like, man, you should have seen this one kid I had. He played 7th grade football with me. Oh, man. Brock ain't like that. Brock is a different dude. Mm. He is on another level. I mean, the fact that you have to mention Brock Bowers in the same breath as Herschel Walker and David Pollock, right, as the only 3-time All-Americans in the University of Georgia history, tells you he's on a different level. So I don't see how Brock slips to 14 or 15 unless just the absolute needs of teams are too great. He is too good of a football player to go that low. I don't think there's any place that Brock won't be a good fit.
Yeah. we saw James Carraway mention there 9 solid draftees could be as high as 11 or 12. You know, the names that I didn't list here, we just listed the top 5 projected at least. You know, Cedric Van Pran, Tyke Smith, some of the other guys, Zion Logue, Kendall Milton, and Marcus Rosemy-Jackson, of course. So Roddy's got the list right up there. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of different guys. The next one up is Amarius Mims, projected just on literally his size,
physical ability.
Yeah. He is a first round draft pick.
Yep.
Number 20 to the Steelers.
Sure.
Thoughts on him going to the Steelers?
I mean, look, I like the Steelers.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a big Mike Tomlin guy.
Yeah, I like Mike Tomlin. Nothing wrong with that. George Pickens, I guess he stays there. I don't know. Kind of a little tumultuous there towards the end this past year, it seems like. But I like the Steelers. And I think Mims needs to go somewhere where he's going to have somebody that is willing to stay on him. And Tomlin seems like he's that type of guy.
Yeah.
But he's not cutting guys slack. And that's the crazy thing about the NFL. Like I have some amazing amount of NFL experience to speak on here. Like there ain't no hand holding up there, dog. Like you've got to perform or else you take your butt home.
Yeah.
They don't play with that. So I think a place for him, like a Steelers, a really solid organization with a leader like Mike Tomlin, who has been there probably he may be the longest tenure coach in the NFL now. I don't know. But one of the longest tenure ones at the very least is probably a great fit for him. A mature organization with a mature coach is a good spot for a kid like Mims, who is probably the most physically talented player in the draft, but needs to learn how to put it all together when it comes to being a football player.
For sure. I think the Steelers would be a good fit. I mean, it's like I said, Mike Tomlin. I just think for the reasons that you said, I think that he'll have an opportunity to develop there.
Back to Brock, I thought about this shit. The Saints. I'm not a big NFL fan. I mean, I watch NFL, I like it, whatever. But I hope he doesn't go for the Saints. That's the one team I don't pull for really at all. So
yeah.
I'm
with you on that one. Anyone really, but the Saints. Yeah, I think I don't want to skip down to Javon Bullard quite yet because he's lower on this, but I think Bullard at 62 would be a steal. I think anyways, we'll get there in a minute. Ladd at number 33 to the Panthers. Brent Rollins mentioned that he would be surprised if he saw Ladd maybe slip into the 40s, pick number 43, maybe to the Falcons.
Yeah.
But obviously, like you mentioned, the Falcons don't take
Georgia players. Yeah.
So.
I mean, you hope for guys like Ladd, and again, there's not a bad landing spot. If you make the NFL, it is really amazing, and it's a great spot. But I hope for his sake he didn't go to the Panthers. Yeah. I want the guys I really pull for to go to better teams,
right?
And they are a mess. They're on or through beer on fans this year. Fired several coaches. It seems like in the last 6 months, what it feels like. So. A little tumultuous. Ladd's going to be a great pro. He's going to be a guy that shows up every day, does the work he's supposed to do, is prepared, is ready, and all that. And maybe Bryce Young may be a good fit for him at quarterback. But I hope he goes to a place with a little bit more stable of an environment, just for his sake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ladd again, he's going to be a great NFL player.
Yeah, they've got Adam Thielen on their roster currently. Yep. I don't know if he's what type of deal he's signed with the Panthers. Yeah. I'm not that into the Panthers, so I don't know if Adam Thielen is sticking around this upcoming season. However, they do have Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen was really good there for a while with the Vikings, and Ladd, it may be a good type of guy to kind of, for Thielen to take him under his wing. So that's the positive that I would see if they keep Adam Thielen, a similar guy that I think that Ladd could benefit from. But other than that, stay away from the Panthers at all cost right now.
I hope he doesn't go there.
Yeah, it's tough. Their offense is tough. The defense is great. Offense, they can't score points.
Yeah,
so
I know.
So, I think. It's so tough to just project where we could.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows? I don't follow enough now.
Yeah.
I know we got different guys we're talking about. I mean, we talked about last week a little bit. Rosemy-Jackson potentially being a great pro. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if Cedric Van Pran-Granger had the longest NFL career of anybody in this class.
Yeah, people were talking about him to the Eagles if Kelsey retires.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a great fit?
It'd be a great fit.
They love their Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah. I think that would be a phenomenal fit. I think Georgia fans would love it too because, I mean, who knows? Falcons, if they don't turn around here soon, a lot of Georgia fans are going to start cheering for the Eagles because yeah, good point. They're already the Philly Dogs. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a guy, man, who could catch on somewhere. The next thing you know, he's got a 10, 12, 14-year NFL career. Yeah. You look at guys like Ben Jones, David Andrews, very similar type players to Cedric. Thick, strong, smart, tough leaders.
Very smart. Yeah.
They make it.
Yep. For sure.
So, yeah, I pull for him.
Yeah. Kamari Lassiter, number 41 to the Packers.
He's a dog.
He's a great corner. So, I mean, you look at any team that needs a corner, you literally just plug and play there. So,
Roddy, what was Kamari Lassiter coming out of high school? Can we get his rankings on there? Because we talked about Eric Stokes earlier. You've got that'd be cool. Have
4-star. He's flashing 4-star.
Yeah, so he's a 4-star guy on there. So I mean, he's a guy that not the elite, but 4-star recruits are very highly regarded. But that'd be cool if you saw Eric Stokes on one side, Kamari Lassiter on the other for the Packers.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. In my old age, growing up, I just liked the Falcons because they were the closest team to me. And we only got Channel 13, WMAZ, down in Wrightsville, and that's only if you turn the antenna right. My nana had a thing on her house where you turn the knob and the antenna turned. Do you even know about that?
No.
Huh?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Have you ever watched TV? Have you ever watched TV on an antenna?
Not antenna. No, I had the big 100-pound box TV with the back sticking out like this far.
Yeah.
And whenever we got rid of it, I had to, carry it out. It took like 3 people.
Like a big screen?
No, it was like a box that was
you
probably
but you were on satellite or cable or something.
Yeah, cable.
Yeah.
I grew up on Comcast, Xfinity now, whatever it's called now.
I'm not kidding you. I'm sorry. We got Kamari Lassiter on the screen. That is a good thing. That's a good thing to see. But no, in Wrightsville, look, we lived at the bottom of the hill, so we got 5 channels. We got 13, 58, 20, 13, 58, 24, 41, and 29. And on a good day, you got TV 35 out of Dublin, but that wasn't anything there. At my nana's house at the top of the hill, for whatever reason, you only got channel 13 and channel 29. 29, by the way, is GPTV, PBS, so you can't watch no football on that.
Right.
So we only got CBS. That's all we got. And you had to turn the antenna to get it to come in.
That's unbelievable. Yeah.
So, anyways.
Living in good times of these streaming services.
Look, man. Well, no. Those were much better times. The world would be a much better place, by the way, if we didn't sit here and watch people like me and you podcast at night and stream this and that and the other. But please keep watching us do this.
I was about to say, our viewership's going to go down the drain.
They don't have antennas either.
Oh, man.
But
anyways.
I don't even know where I was going with all that. You got me down sidetrack lane.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Hey, look at Roddy.
Hey, guys, real quick. You were asking about where these guys were rated coming out of high school. Brock Bowers was a 4-star. Marius Mims was a 5-star. Kamari Lassiter was a 4-star. Ladd McConkey was a 3. Javon Bullard also a 3. Cedric Van Pran was a 4. Ike Smith was a 4. Zion Logue was a 4. Kendall Milton, 4 or 5. He kind of bounced around there a little bit, depending on which you go with. I'm trying to go with the consensus, if you will. And Marcus Risby-Jackson was a 4. So again, if you're ranked a 5-star in the Rivals rankings, and Georgia signed 4 of them, by the way, in this past class. Alabama also signed 4, but one of them, Julian Sands, already gone. So if we rank you a 5-star, we expect you to be a first-round draft pick. If we rank you 4-star, then 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. 3-star, we still expect you to be draftable, maybe even all conference. So 3-star is not a derogatory ranking by any means. There's like 800 3-stars. That's not a lot out of 3 million high school football players. So, and it's tough. People go, well, you ranked him 5 stars. He wasn't taken in the first round. Well, sometimes they go in the second. Injuries can happen. Kendall Milton looked like on his first day, looked like a guaranteed first-round draft.
Yeah.
And then some guys play their way up. Some guys play their way down. Some guys get injured. Some guys stay healthy. You never know how it's going to work out. But the number, go back to the rankings there with Kirby Smart getting his the recruiting classes in 2018, 2019, 2020, number one. And then he has back-to-back national championships in the following 2 years. Those recruiting rankings matter.
Yeah, they matter. And you guys, and when I say you guys, the Rivals, all the big recruiting services of the world have gotten so much better in the last 10 years or so as far as identifying players and understanding what measurables you need to look at. And also, I think you guys probably have access now to more people like coaches and all that give you an idea of who they're looking at, what they're thinking, et cetera. I mean, everybody has an agenda, even the coaches. They're trying to leak information and get information, et cetera. So I think that the ability to rank and understand and project players is way better than it was even when I came out, 20 some odd years ago.
But it's also technology because you
It's
can see
technology.
kids a lot more. I mean, a lot of kids put out film that they didn't get before. Now we're getting huddle highlights the next day after a game, whereas in years past, you might have some kids would come out. I think it was like a Washawn Ely or somebody from ECI came out and they had like no highlights. Is the kid any good? But then if you now a 2-star nobody, he has huddle highlights with a star going around his, him getting blocked. It's the technology's advanced. Plus, we've hired a bunch of people who worked in college football and been in those rooms saying we're going to offer this kid and we're going to not offer that one. So
yeah,
you're right. The scouting's got it better, but a lot of that has to do with increased technology. You get to see a lot more, and you know a little bit more about what the coaches are looking for.
And I will say this to Roddy's point for the recruiting guys that's like, I'm old school. Rankings don't matter. Yes, the heck they do.
Bullshit.
Okay. It doesn't determine, by the way, your ranking doesn't determine your destiny, not even close to it. But it gives us a pretty dang good idea of the guys that can even get up to the plate and take that bat and have a shot.
Yeah.
So
I always love the people that say, well, he was a 2-star and he went in the first round. Yeah, it's not prohibitive for a guy to do that.
There ain't many Thomas Davises in the world. There ain't many Tim Jennings of the world. I mean, those days, because of the access to people, are pretty much gone. It will happen some, but it's rare. So
it's the exception to the rule that people say, well, that proves it's not true. I'm like, okay, I want you to pick 32 high school players and see how many of them get picked in the first round. And when you get guys like a Trevor, number 1 in our rankings, number 1 in the pick and the draft, and we do that over and over and over again. When you have a guy that's, we had him number 5 and he goes number 1. It's pretty damn good to predict something that's going to happen 3 to 4 years from now with all the variables that are out there. And
by the way,
some absolutely wrong, but it's impossible to get them right. But we're right about 68 to 80% of the time about where a kid's going to wind up being drafted.
And we're not gonna have this guy, this type fan on our show commenting because of who our fans watching the show are. But the people that want to say, well, look at there's a wide receiver from Hofstra, somebody from Presbyterian College. He's like the 3rd draft pick in their history, right? If they get a guy drafted every 10 years, and there's a ton of small schools. If a small school produces one good player every 3 years, which is probably going to happen, great. That's awesome for the kid.
It's like betting on the field.
Yeah, Georgia's having a down year, and they're going to have 10 or 12 guys drafted.
Yeah,
as far as the amount of guys coming out, that's wild. So,
well, I want to go back real quick, and I'll leave y'all with this. Is check out this quote from the head of our recruiting, Adam Gorney. He's the national recruiting analyst, and I thought it was pretty good. He says, "Read that out," and I'll leave y'all alone.
Not only is what he's doing impressive recruiting wise, but he's turning them into national champions and NFL draft picks. That has the snowball effect. Kids are going there and getting disciplined. They're becoming millionaires because of it, and it will only get more kids that want to do it in Athens. Sorry, I got a little iffy on there.
We're sitting away from the screen. We got to fix the situation. Good job there. I mean, the point of what he's saying is, like, Georgia is signing guys that are highly rated, but then, man, they are taking those ingredients and making something really awesome out of them. Like those kids don't come here and get lost.
Yeah,
they don't come here and just get left out on their own to figure it out. Like they're pushed, they're driven. Discipline is crazy as far as what's expected of those guys and what they learn to do. And it's funny to me. I get to talk to a few guys who have transferred other places, or some of the guys I know of the team now will talk to buddies who have transferred other places, and just to hear them talk about the difference between going to some ACC school, some other SEC school, some Big 12 school, compared to what's like at Georgia is night and day.
Yeah.
Kirby's got it going on, man. He really has it going on. So, yeah, I'm glad he's our dog.
Yeah. And then the last one, Javon Bullard, number 62 to the Ravens. I think
that's your guy.
I love Javon Bullard. I think he's smart. I think he'd be great with the Steelers. I think Mike Tomlin would fall in love with him if he just I think he'd be great with the Steelers, but that's just me.
Well, you just said Ravens.
Yeah, he's number 62 to the Ravens, but I think he'd be a good fit with the Steelers.
He's going to be a great fit anywhere. I just hope that wherever he goes, he's going to be drafted at the same place that Marvin Harrison Jr. is, and walk in the first day and just go like that at him.
Yeah, good point.
How great would that be?
Yeah.
Buck.
Yeah. Anyways, we saw this comment from right, if you'll pull it up, Kirby's Belt. He said, "What's up, dogs? Did you see Beck's sweet car?" So Carson Beck, and then there's one right below it that says James Caraway. I'm sure Russ was also driving around in a $300,000 sports car in his UGA days. This is crazy. Now there's some speculation on whether or not he bought it, whether it's an NIL deal, NIL lease. This is insane. This isn't the first time we've seen a player, college football player, in a Lamborghini. We saw Bryce Young, I think, before he even stepped on campus, was driving around in a Lambo or something like that. So
let me address James Caraway for a second. You could add up every vehicle that I've ever owned in my life, and I'm 41 years old. You could add up every vehicle I've ever had in my life, and they would not be worth $300,000. And I'm not stretching; it's not even close there. So yeah, I wish I'd had one. Now, what was your question? What'd you say? Oh, the NIL stuff, whatever.
Yeah, we got some speculation around Carson, driving a Lamborghini. Did he buy it? Is it a lease? Is it an NIL deal?
Surely it's a lease. Surely it's a lease. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure now, don't get me wrong, he's probably making enough money to buy one now.
Yeah,
but
sure.
He ain't making $10 million a year, $5 million a year, nothing like that. I don't think. So I would bet it's a lease, probably an NIL deal that's being worked out somewhere. Because I don't know who posted that on social media, but is that not like a Lamborghini dealership or something posted on there?
I think so. It's like an Atlanta Autos, like top tier, some type of.
I would bet you he gets it for 6 months, 12 months, something like that.
Yeah,
that's like a few years ago. University of Utah, their entire team got like
the
Dodge Rams or something like that. And they were all 12-month leases that they, by the way, get 1099s on, or something like that. So, yeah. That's my aunt.
Yeah.
I got a lot of family watching. Our viewership goes up just because I got a big family.
Shout out to Russ's family for watching this. Thank you every week for being, 95% of our viewership. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was one of the first guys that really made the scooters possible in there. That's a good point now, right here. Carson having that car is an advertisement for Georgia as far as recruiting. That's right. I mean, if you say, hey, man, you come here, I would like to say that kids are wise enough to understand that Ferraris and Lamborghinis are not what validates you or make you something. But then you realize they're 18-year-old boys. Like, how many 18-year-old dudes do you know that would not be like, I'm going to get a Lambo?
Right.
Bruh, I would have been, do you know how hot I would have been in front of the Walmart in Dublin riding them down the street if I had a Lambo back in the day? I mean, it's wild. So, yeah, but it's all recruiting. It's NIL. It's recruiting. It's kind of building this idea in these players' minds. If you come here, you can be a part of something this special and reach the highest levels. And this is proof. That's the pudding, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's the proof in the pudding. Now, he's the quarterback. He's QB1. All you other guys don't get to do what he does. But, yeah, I mean, I would assume it's a lease. I'm assuming it's NIL related. But good for him.
Yeah.
If he did buy it, I don't know that he makes the best decisions in the world. So just 'cause that's a lot of money for a car.
I don't think Kirby would allow it to buy one. I think that would be a conversation about like, hey, nope, you're gonna return that right there. That's a liability.
I would hope so. But I mean, good for him, man. Like, as long as he keeps working hard, preparing, doing the things he needs to do to lead the team, I don't care what he drives. He could drive an 87 Oldsmobile as far as I'm concerned, but for his benefit, I'm glad he's got the Lambo. That's a sweet ride. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I would drive it.
I would too. I mean, if you're gonna make me, I'll drive it. We had that comment from James Caraway. What I love about UGA with NIL, if you stay, you earn it. You get your money. Other schools paying 18-year-olds just to show up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's it. Look, I mean, that's the man right there. That's QB1. That is the man for Georgia. If Georgia wins the national championship next year, it's because Carson Beck has a great year.
Yeah.
Okay. If he doesn't have a great year, it's a coin flip for Georgia. If he has a great year, Georgia can win the national championship.
Yeah.
So you look at a guy like that who's going to be Heisman front runner. He's leading the odds right now. We talked about that last week. And yeah, it's all making sense. We're literally processing this on the show.
Yeah.
That's a recruiting thing. Whoever said that a while ago, that's a recruiting deal for Georgia right there. So good for him.
Good question right here from John Williamson. Just wondering why the players getting NIL are still getting scholarships.
Because the vast majority of players, the vast majority of players are not getting enough money to cover tuition, books, and all that stuff that a scholarship covers. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a huge misconception. A lot of folks think that every player gets Lamborghinis, that every player is getting 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month. And that's not the case.
Right.
The vast majority of players are not getting enough money that will cover tuition, room, board, and books. They're just not.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting something now. They've got they call them like a red card or something over there where they get the certain
meal
food, cards, basically, and which is great.
Yeah.
I love that they get that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The thing I get curious about is, are there guys like a Carson Beck, for instance, who is no longer on scholarship at Georgia to make room for other numbers to come in because the NIL money is so great?
Jeez.
Is that a conversation that ever gets had over there?
Wow.
So, again, that's
interesting.
Well, and it makes all the sense in the world, right?
It does. It opened a spot for another guy who they couldn't maybe sway unless with NIL money, maybe a scholarship. I don't know. That's a really good point.
Tom Brady took a lot less pay for a long time to keep rosters stacked slap full. He got Randy Moss to play with him.
Yeah.
That's the greatest QB wide receiver combination I've ever witnessed in football. When their peak year, he was taking less to get them there. So if you're a Carson Beck, and it may not happen, but maybe it does. I mean, if you had a guy, let's say Trevor Etienne was coming, there wasn't a roster spot for him. You're getting $1 million a year, $2 million a year, whatever it is. If you're Carson Beck, say, well, all right, I'm going to take less now to give that guy a scholarship,
right,
to help me be better, to improve my draft stock, to make $100 million in NFL. Yes, please sign me up. So, and I have no idea how much money Carson Beck gets in NIL, but go back to the question and the answer. The reason they still get it is because the vast majority of players are not getting significant money in the NIL world.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. There's a limited amount of scholarship spots and walk-ons and all these other guys. And so, yeah, that's important to keep in mind. It's a comment from Kirby's belt. Beck showed up in his pajamas and the salesman pulled some dirty khakis out of the hamper. I didn't even notice the khakis the first time.
They're actually bad. Now, I wish he hadn't pulled that out because, man, I'm not going to – not that I'm going to look this tweet up on a regular basis, but that is terrible. If you're a Lamborghini salesman, man, buy some pants that fit that aren't wrinkled like that.
A button down, too, or something like that?
That's bad. No, that's bad. That's just a bad – and Carson Beck's sandals are not a great look either. That's just a bad picture overall. Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah,
he looks comfy. I'll tell you that much. That's probably all Lululemon that he's wearing right now. I know he's a big Lululemon fan. So
if Lululemon fit me properly, I would wear it. But
it's some comfy stuff. I've got a few select items. Anyways,
Lululemon,
if you want to sponsor the show,
yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that.
Yeah, Russell squeeze. He'll squeeze into some stuff. Don't worry.
But yeah, good for Carson Beck. I'm glad for him, and it's cool. And maybe I see him around town. Maybe give me a ride one day. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
we can do a barbecue for you together. Yeah. Carson, if you're watching, I'm available. So.
I think this is a decent segue into Missouri. Speaking of NIL money, Missouri got an anonymous $62 million donation from a donor for football. That $62 million. You just got $62 million, hanging around. What do you do? Missouri. Yeah. Missouri. What alumni? Who? I
didn't even know Missouri had fans. So to have somebody give $62 million to their football team, they needed a building named after them or something. But I saw $50 million for their stadium improvement, which is needed. Their stadium is not on par with other SEC schools. But the crazy part to me, and this is where the NCAA's got to get this crap fixed, man. $12 million goes to basically their collective.
Yep.
Which is not supposed to be affiliated with university, but it's being announced as a gift to the university with $12 million going to the NIL collective. How's that work?
It doesn't. It's not supposed to, but I guess it does. It's just gonna they're literally, look at this. Rowdy pulled this up. This is literally Missouri's athletic website. Mizzou Athletics secures $62 million gift commitment. The historic $62 million commitment is the largest in Mizzou Athletics history.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So I guess they're not saying that other $12 million is for NIL.
$12 million will go towards Mizzou's Tiger Fund, a charitable program through the Tiger Scholarship Fund that benefits Mizzou student athletes, aka
NIL.
Mizzou football players. Luther Burden, in particular, guys from the transfer portal. Yeah, that money. I mean, it'll help for sure. But
look, college athletics is an arms race now. from talent acquisition to facilities to being able to hire coaches. Like, you've got to have all of it now, or else you're going to get left behind by the Georgias, Texas, Michigan, Alabama, Ohio States of the world, because those places are producing crazy amounts of money right now.
Yeah.
So for a place like Missouri, and I like the Eli Drinkwitz guy, by the way.
Yeah.
As far as other SEC schools are concerned, I'm okay with Missouri, and I like the Drinkwitz guy. Him and Kirby look like they're cousins or something. Seems all right. It's probably just because they both have kind of shaggy hair and wear the same visor. But,
Right.
but for him to have that kind of infusion to his program, man, like it is life for that program. It's hope for them to actually move from mid-level SEC. And look, Missouri's good this year, but they're not top tier SEC.
Right.
Money like that can move you there.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting players, getting coaches.
$12 million. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
That could secure you some decent talent there for a little bit of time. So
yeah.
50, like we mentioned, $50 million is for stadium renovations, which probably I've never been to Columbia, Missouri, so I've never seen that stadium.
Yep.
However, I have seen it on TV. It could probably use some renovations to it, just like
fine.
Sanford Stadium's getting some as well. But yeah, I think that this obviously needed to be addressed in some capacity, because this is $62 million.
That's a lot of dough,
Where
brother.
did it come from?
That is a lot of dough, brother.
Look, we got Roddy saying it's an awful stadium. That's what he said in the comments. We also had a comment from your dad, Ed Tanner. He said, "I had to buy that scooter," talking about the scooters you were riding around on.
Don't listen to him. We're gonna have Pops on the show one day.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, we can make it happen. So yeah, some of these slow days. I've been thinking about this, like what we're gonna do for some of these slower times of Georgia football. I think y'all need to meet the Tanners. So we'll have Pops on here. He loves to sit in the comments, talk trash about me. So we'll have him on here and talk about it. So
yeah, I can't wait to hear some of the recruiting stories he has, because the Notre Dame story, that one was good.
Did we tell that on air? If I just told you?
Yeah, no, you told that. I'm pretty sure that was the very first episode that we
we'll cover all that kind of stuff.
Jerry's win and Tyson Browning.
Yeah.
That was a good one. If you haven't seen that, go get caught up on Dawgs and Hawgs. We got plenty of episodes out by now. Another piece of this NIL puzzle, Roddy tweeted this about top tier authentics. We went from suspending Todd Gurley to this, which is a list of all these different players, these new guys that are coming in, these early enrollees, and some players that are already on the team, as well as Kirby Smart signing. They're being paid. It's a new, I guess, an NIL deal or something like that, being paid, for autograph signings and stuff like that. So just a very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's mad about that than Coach Rick. right. I mean, he said I just got to him to lie and deny, which is funny because Coach Rick would never lie.
Yeah,
but it's wild, man, how much football has now changed. College football has changed in 10, 12 years, however long it's been since Todd was here, to what we're doing now. There were guys coming and getting autographs from us back when we played and selling them, but we didn't get any money from it.
Yeah.
And you tried to avoid those guys. Now these guys are not going to sign a lot of stuff unless it's an authenticated type deal where, you got to get the dollars right. So I don't know. It's all wild and crazy. I'm good for those kids being able to sign and do that kind of stuff, which is good for them. But I worry about the direction of college football with it being all this stuff. So
this is the list right here. The top recruiting class, plus some of the new guys, some of the transfers like Trevor Etienne and London Humphrey. Some of those guys. I mean, just look at that list. It's number one recruiting class. Michael Jackson's on there, the transfer from USC. So it's just all these guys. Yeah.
What song are we playing for him? It's got to be Thriller. Like if he does something else, it's got to be Thriller.
All right.
If he's explosive.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, Xavier McLeod's on the list. A bunch of guys on the list of walk-ons and some of these new guys. These are
it's talent, man. Those guys. I mean, this is
that list. There could be a lot of money. These autographs could be worth a lot of money here in the near future. But yeah, anyways, that is a very, very stacked list.
Somebody said they look forward to meet the Tanners. We're gonna work that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Well, yeah.
We're already meeting. What?
Hmm?
Who's coming on next week? You want to?
Yeah, we can tease the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
at least trying to. This is not confirmed for next week, right?
With my wife?
Yeah.
It's not confirmed.
All right. Well.
She's hard to nail down. Yeah, I'm hoping, next week is Valentine's Day. So I may have to bribe her, tell her Coach Donnan's going to be here or something like that, because she loves, my wife loves Jimmy D.
Yeah.
She loves Coach Donnan.
Maybe Roddy can hook us up. Roddy does the show with him every single week.
So yeah, I'm going to try to get my wife on for a little romantical Dawgs and Hawgs episode. Let her talk about things she loves, Georgia football, and hopefully me. My wife is a more rabid Georgia fan than I am. She was born in Athens. She's been going to games longer than I have, and she loves it. So yeah, she is one I have to put a leash on when we go to away games, because she will fight. So
she's one of the ones barking at the.
I've never heard her actually bark.
Oh, really?
Her voice is deep enough, but I've seen her kick a little stuffed gator that somebody had on a string walking around.
No way.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome. That is awesome.
So, anyways, hopefully my bride Shelly's going to be on next week. She is not watching the show tonight, so she doesn't know. So I can get home and I can try to talk her into it.
Perfect.
And then after that, the following week,
big news.
As long as everything goes, we're going to have one of the QB1s. Jake Fromm's coming on with us.
Yep.
And it's going to be a different episode because I'm bribing Jake with steak. Yep. So we're going to cook. Probably, I'll go ahead and say it's going to be some of the best steak you've ever had in your life.
I believe it.
My cousin Matt is coming. He's going to cook. We're going to have him cook, and we're going to talk Dogs and Hogs and eat steak on the show with Jake Fromm in 2 weeks. So hopefully my wife, Shelly, next week, Jake Fromm the week after that. So
yeah. So a lot to look forward to, fans. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to keep rolling here. We'll wrap up here in a minute, but let's talk a little bit of Super Bowl. We already talked a little bit about it last week.
Mm-hmm.
Have you changed your mind at all? Last week you were kind of leaning Chiefs. You're like, how is it?
Yeah.
The Chiefs are getting hot at the right time. It's going to be hard to stop them at this point in the season. 49ers are favored by 1.5. I guess you can check different books and see. Some say 2.5, some say 1. It just varies. Do you think Vegas is setting a trap there by favoring a lot of the money? I heard a lot of the money is on the Chiefs for this game.
Yeah, I think, and I would bet it is. So usually that tells you that you should go the other way because we don't know. Look, at the end of the day, I said it last week. I'm pulling for the 49ers, which is somebody who grew up liking the Falcons. It's hard to do, but Charlie Warner's my buddy, and I pull for my buddies. I know there's players on both teams, but Charlie's my buddy, so I want Charlie to win Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and he'll come on the show if he wins. double whammy win.
Right.
And I think the 49ers probably have a better roster top to bottom, but Patrick Mahomes is going to go down with the 2 or 3 greatest quarterbacks in history of the game.
It's crazy we're saying that, and he's like
6 years in,
just getting started. Yeah,
my son is a huge Mahomes fan, and he said last night that Mahomes has said he wants to play another 15 years, but he's going to go down as one of the GOATs, and he's going against Brock Purdy. I love Brock Purdy. I love the story. I love watching the guy play. He's a smart football player, a very good football player. He ain't Patrick Mahomes. I want the 49ers to win, but I don't know how you bet against Mahomes in Super Bowl playoff high-pressure games. He's just so good.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong, by the way.
I saw this. Speaking of Brock Purdy, I saw this video that somebody posted of Taylor Swift talking about number 13. It's like her lucky number, even though it's an unlucky number. And then it was like the super dramatic music. And then they showed Brock Purdy because he's number 13. And they're like the only person who can stop the Chiefs or something like that. I thought it was so funny because all this, this Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce speculation. And
it's a deep fake, right? Do we really think they're an actual romantic couple?
I think they kissed on camera after he won the last game or something like that. Listen, I know, but I don't know. Somebody also asked Travis Kelce at the media day, the Super Bowl media day. They said, who's getting a ring first, the 49ers or Taylor? And he said, I don't know. I just hope I'm wearing a ring by the end of the end of this Sunday.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I'm excited about the Super Bowl. I think it sets up to be a good one. There's been some years past where it's been like, man, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So I like both these teams. We went to Airhead this summer on our family road trip and rode by there. My son Major listens to the song Red Kingdom all the time. It's the only Tech 9 song that my son is allowed to listen to, by the way. if you don't know about Tech Nine, I don't recommend going and listening to that with the family. But he does listen to Red Kingdom, so we do that regularly. But yeah, Charlie's our guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I'm excited about watching it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. Russ, as we wrap up the show, you're wearing a what are you wearing? Snow's
Yeah, this
barbecue.
is Snow's barbecue.
Okay. Did you go anywhere this week? For a lot of the fans love your barbecue reviews.
Yeah.
Where'd you go this week for barbecue?
Man.
If you went somewhere.
Yeah, I did. And I actually, and for those who are asking, yeah, I'm gonna try to get it on YouTube or something to watch soon. It's just on my personal Facebook, my personal Instagram pages right now. You can find me at rtanner50 on those. And this was actually probably my most interacted with, shared, commented on review that I've ever done. And it's probably my favorite place I've ever done. And I never heard of it until Friday at 10:30, and I ate there at 11:15.
Would you jump in the car and go immediately? Where was it? What's it called?
It's called Sanders Barbecue. It's in Carlton, Georgia. It's between Lexington and Elberton, out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there ain't nothing
Elberton is literally the definition of nowhere. So I believe you on that one.
People from this town drive to Elberton to shop out there. Okay. But Sanders Barbecue, it's an 85-year-old man named Carlton Sanders. He lives in Carlton, Georgia, and on Sanders Barbecue. Sanders Barbecue. 85 years old. He and his wife, Miss Murtis, and their 2 sons work there. They open it Friday and Saturday. They cook on a real pit outside, out back.
Was this the wood shavings on the floor place?
Nope, that was
different
Holcomb's.
place.
Nope,
Man,
that was Holcomb's.
It's tough to keep track of your barbecue reviews. You got one week.
I know this is not great TV here either, but let's see if I can get this on camera here. This was their pit right here. Can we get on there? Look at that. I mean, that's their. It ain't really working. That's their pits right there. And then Mr. Carlton, he's 85 years old, and he's in there serving us. And anyways, man, it may be my favorite barbecue restaurant. It's top 3 in the state of Georgia for me. So
right,
that's them. That's them right there. Sanders Down Home Barbecue.
Is that 5-star? Is this a 5-star Yelp review? Is that or 4.4? It's got only a few reviews. We got Greg Watts over here. He said, "Love Sanders Barbecue."
Yep.
So hey, if you guys are watching, go support local small business. Some barbecue, some soul food. It says Sanders Down Home Barbecue soul food.
I've heard they had the best fried chicken you'll ever have. It was fried to order. We didn't leave enough time to eat there because I had something else I had to do that day. We didn't have time to stay for the fried chicken, but yeah, it was awesome, man. And they are the nicest people, maybe the nicest people I've ever met.
Wow,
present company included. I mean, they were the most genuinely nice, down to earth, kind people that you're ever going to meet, and their food was amazing. It was great. So
sounds like a great experience.
Sanders Barbecue, man. I ranked it in the 9s. I gave it a 9.2, which is on my scale at a 9.2 is.
That's insane.
I know.
What was the best thing you had? Best side and also best entree. I mean, you keep saying you're a rib guy, so I'm
their ribs
there
were
it is.
slapping.
Knew it.
But it was the best smoked chicken I've ever had.
Yeah.
And it was all great. I mean, the environment, the people, the ambiance, those things are very important to me.
Yeah.
So I don't rank it just on food. The food was really, really good, but the whole experience to me put it in the 9s, which is crazy for me.
Hey, that's awesome.
I've
go review them on
I've
Yelp.
only given 3 9s in Georgia, and they're one of the 3.
Wow.
So,
what are the other 2?
Doss Brothers.
Yeah.
Doss, in Atlanta, and then Fox Brothers in Atlanta.
Wow. Yeah. Hey,
very different places, by the way, than Sanders Barbecue.
Right.
Those are new age, new school brisket. A lot of different stuff, variety, really awesome. But Sanders has been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And they were awesome people.
Well, hey, even if you haven't eaten there, go review them on Yelp. Give them 5 stars because we support local businesses here. Yep. Well, that about wraps us up here, Russ. Thank you, fans, for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week to Dawgs and Hawgs. We'll hopefully have Mrs. Tanner on the show next week. And then the week after, stay tuned because we're going to have Jake Fromm on as well.
Yep.
So thank you guys again for tuning in. Catch us every single Wednesday, 8 p.m. right here, same time, same place. Thanks for tuning in. Russ, got any closing remarks?
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.